Art and Foolproof is art, artists, culture, and collecting. And of course, whiskey in this case. I'm here with Tom Towhey and a bottle of Colonel E.H. Taylor out of Frankfort, Kentucky. This is the single barrel.
Nice.
I'll go ahead and pour to get us started. We'll have a little toast. We're celebrating in part here.
Absolutely.
We are here in Tom Towhey's brand new studio.
Yep.
Cheers to that. Congratulations on your accomplishments.
Thank you.
Getting this together. Very nice.
Yes, indeed.
That's like really nice.
Beautiful. Thank you.
This is, what would you call it? It's delicious. Actually, it's very, very nice.
Smooth.
Pick one up at your next opportunity. According to my colleague and producer of Art and Foolproof, AJ Giannopoulos, this is a unicorn bottle. I guess he's been looking for it for a while.
Okay, yeah.
But we just get to drink it.
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it when he showed me what it really was.
I am excited about the studio, excited about the new work. Got a couple examples here behind us, some of the new work. A lot of it is pretty iconic Towhey, but we see some new adventures, and we'll certainly get into some of your process and thinking behind the work. First question, your work feels like it exists somewhere between imagination and observation. I think that's pretty observant. So when you start, is it something you've seen, or is it always a discovery? Because I know that is kind of part of your work.
It's almost always discovery. Sometimes I'll start with a very basic idea, but it builds and builds and builds, and a story twists and turns, and I follow the painting. I don't have a finished image in my mind ever. And it builds and builds, until I get bored with it, I guess.
Yeah, and that's always been kind of indicative of your work, that sort of,
yeah.
You always talk about how, the painting sort of comes to you, much in the way that people talk about a sculptor, carving marble or wood. They always say,
it's in there.
It's in there, and it's the artist is just finding that image.
Yeah, they're the vehicle.
Yeah,
which is hokey pokey, but
it's pretty cool.
It's true.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that thing that's magic, and it's just out of sight. Mm-hmm. But there's more to it.
Yeah.
And they're narrative in nature, but I never know the story. Sometimes I'll know that story once they're finished, and I look at it a year later and go, oh man, that's because that was going on in my life. Mm-hmm. And at the time I was painting, I didn't realize that,
subconscious.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That is kind of magical, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
The original idea disappears. So you may have a concept, but that's going to disappear. How do you know when to trust that shift instead of focusing on the concept?
I made a promise to myself a couple years back that if I saw it, I'll paint it. And it flashes in my head or something I see on the canvas. I don't just stick to my one idea. I go and I say, okay, well, that's supposed to be there. I saw it.
Right.
So I do it, and something comes out of it every time. But I don't just stop.
Sure.
I just keep going.
Right, because I mean, and I know we've talked about this. You're as part of your process, you work on multiple pieces at one time.
Yep.
And in terms of time, I mean, they take time. I mean,
a lot of time.
You have sometimes years in one canvas.
Right.
As it continues to develop, as you put it aside, and
come back with fresh eyes.
Yeah.
And then you'll see something different, or you'll say, "Ooh, I missed that."
Sure.
And yeah, I've worked on paintings Well, you can't see it's off camera over there, but that one is about 25 years in the making.
Fascinating.
Uh-huh.
Fascinating. Is there ever been a case where you've been like, just done, burn it, tear it up, paint over it? So not all of them even get that far.
Yeah, I've burned my share of paintings.
Yeah, so they must have something in it if you're willing to keep coming back to it, you know, in that kind of period of time to where you just haven't given up.
Right,
Yeah,
absolutely.
fascinating. What role does color play? Emotionally, psychologically?
Well, it's
when
a
you're building
huge role. I mean, you know, I'm not real big on color theory or anything like that, but the power that color has. You know, some people say, I went to a Towhey opening, but I should have brought my sunglasses. You know, because I really enjoy the power that good, you know, saturated color provides.
Yeah. And recently, some of this real high contrast, neon, bright, has come into the work.
For two reasons. One, it's a new challenge. You know, it's everything you know about the colors that are, you know, traditional colors, and been painting for 50 years. All of a sudden, you're like, I want a big challenge.
Yeah.
And try making neon work.
Yeah. And
you know, without it just being neon for neon's sake.
Right.
You know, to make it work, because there are neon colors in nature, and there's, you know, there's neon colors in emotions and everything. That's stretching a little bit, but you know, you know what I'm saying.
I'll give you that. I mean, you know, I think there's a big psychological element to your work. I mean, you know, I think that there's a little bit of you in there, and your, you know, your ideas and your headspace. But I also think that for the viewer, they have the opportunity, you know, to follow you along the journey or create their own journey.
Yeah, their
you know,
interpretation. I try not to oversell my ideas. I try to let people, the viewer, come to it with their, you know, with their baggage and their interpretation of it.
Yeah.
And I'll never tell somebody they're wrong, because they're right, you know. And my ideas might be completely different. I've bit holes through my tongue before, listening to people tell me what my stuff's about.
Right. I'm going to tell you what it's about. Try to psychoanalyze. Don't try to psychoanalyze Tom Towhey through his paintings.
Yeah. There's been more than one psychiatrist or therapist that have bought my work.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually really interesting. This is going to bring us to our nice segue here.
Okie doke.
This bourbon, in particular, is known for structure and balance. When you're painting, are you thinking about structure in the same way, or is it something that reveals itself over time? So structure and balance.
Well, that's one of the foundational elements of any decent painting. You know, you have to know how to draw before you can throw an abstract painting, a successful one, together. You know, there's a lot of people thinking, oh, I can do that, my child can do that.
Right.
But if you know how, you know, about composition and drawing techniques, and you know, where your horizon line, all that basic stuff you learn in Art 101.
Sure.
That's extremely important, and in my work, it's kind of like riding a bicycle. If you've been doing it for as long as I have, it comes natural. You know what's working and what's not working.
Absolutely.
You know. So.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of my favorite things. My kid can do that. I'm like, let's see it.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to see that.
And then like the kid does it, and you're like, wow, that's really fun. Because kids, I mean, you know, to their credit, a child has a naivety to the process that can bring out some really beautiful things. I mean,
that's why
you can get bogged down in
the
fundamentals too.
Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, I don't like teaching because I feel like I'm not teaching, I'm taking away. You know, I think that you know, the childlike joy that's in painting can, like you just said, can be bogged down and muffled. And if it's, you know, if you just go, that's where the magic happens.
Absolutely.
I think.
We talked a little bit before we started about some of your new work and finding some more, within this idea of structure and balance, finding some more openness. You know, there's always a density to certain aspects of your work, which I think, again, is indicative of your work and iconic in your work. And that's where so much of the fascinating things happen. And while you always leave room for that depth and space, now you're thinking maybe
I want to open it up a lot more.
And we have an example, might be off camera here, where
this is
you've really got, you know,
the newest piece
you
that
just
I'm working
have
on.
completely opened that up. And we, of course, will develop further. I'm sure
Yeah,
we may not recognize that in 3 years.
You got that right. But it's, you know, some of my work was just getting so dense and intense that, you know, the stories were being lost. There was just too much. And so I'm trying to simplify things, open things up, but still have a, you know, a powerful story there, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, now this particular one, I was telling David, there was an owl that visits here on an occasion. And several years ago, I would talk to the owl and yell, not, you know, and then I got really interested because this guy kept coming back. And then I start studying owls, and I realized that you don't talk to the owl. The owl will talk to you when it's ready, when it's comfortable. Well,
that's your spirit owl.
Yeah, so exactly. So I finally shut up, but I didn't realize again when I started this what that was, and that's me as a little boy not understanding nature. So that's sort of a self-portrait. Now I didn't actually have that close, but I am almost that old.
I would think you would look amazing in a bow tie. You stepped away from formal training pretty early.
Yep.
How did that shape the way you think about painting compared to somebody who stayed within, I guess, a more formal educational system?
Well, personally, I didn't want to end up with other people's ideas in my head. You know, I'm like, you paint the way you want to paint, and I'll paint the way I want to paint. Technique, yeah, I need to learn that. But I experimented, and I experiment to this day.
Sure.
But early on, I experimented like crazy just to learn, you know, the mediums.
Yeah.
So, but I don't, as far as, I respect people that have their degrees, and my gosh, man, some of them are just brilliant. Well, a few of them are, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, and that didn't hold them back. That opened their door.
Yeah.
But that, you know, that just wasn't the way I'm wired.
And I think for some, it's for some people, this is my opinion. I think if you find a mentor through education or just, you know, through the process of, and I'm just not just, you know, formal education, but this idea of, you know, learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if some people find a mentor, and that can really be a very fluid, comfortable path to follow.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you, again, my opinion, if you're in this learning stage and you're just not, you know, maybe you're not connecting with the people that are
you're not absorbing
teaching, it's not productive.
Right.
I mean, I kind of, you know, some of my experience early on in my, you know, fine art education was like, I wanted to learn more about certain aspects of painting.
I have mentors to this day. I learn more from working with other artists, or you know, becoming friends with other artists that I respect, and I've learned so much from them.
Yeah.
You know,
There's your school.
Yeah, absolutely. I was heavily influenced by Salvador Dali, surrealism. So there's aspects of surrealism in what I do to this day. You know, it's not as cerebral as what they were doing, but you know that started way before I was born, and but I just absolutely was enamored by Salvador Dali as a kid. I had posters up. You know, some kids had, you know, what's her name, the Farrah Fawcett on their wall, and I had
Lamborghinis.
Yeah, right. You know, muscle cars, whatever. But yeah, I had Salvador Dali posters up, and you know. Oh, success to me is if your paintings move somebody. I've had people tear up sometimes. That's success. It's not about the $1 million paintings being sold at Sotheby's or whatever. It's about that emotional connection to whoever purchased or even just views my work. And that's success to me.
Thank you, Tom.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you.